There you go. We are live. Yes. Good. What's cracking, fam? What's going on? Let's get this music up a little bit. I don't know how I feel about this music. The music's a little...
Oh,
It's a little like... What's going on, fam? How are you guys? Let's get some good... Let me see. How about this? Is this all right? No. This one's usually... I don't know. All right. This one's a little bit more... Get it popping.
Come on. Let's get some your music.
There you go. What's cracking, fam? How you guys doing? Who's in the house tonight? Who do we got? Mr. Camera Junkie. Hey. Oh, wait. I'm pressing buttons. Sorry, guys. It's India.
What happened, India? India.
Exactly. India. ¿Qué pasó? India. Hey, what's going on, Angie? Let me see. And then Todd. I always do this for Todd.
Ho, ho, ho.
What's going on, Todd? How are you?
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, people came in early today. Irving Fryer, what's cracking? How you doing?
Irving Fryer, what's up, sir? We gotta be connected.
I don't know what's happening with my sound effects. I'm all off. All right. All saying hello to everyone.
We're off.
Oh no.
There you go. I know. Exactly. You'll be the supplement to the sound effects, because clearly. Hey, Dwayne. Thank you for coming through. This should loop. There you go. All right. Hey, there's Gretchen. What's cracking? K-Walk loves when I do this just for Todd.
Ho, ho, ho.
What's going on? We have a good show.
Yeah.
RK3 and I have been planning this for a year and a half, I think.
At least.
At least a year and a half. We've been planning this, and finally we have gotten together. So we are excited. I'm excited to have Robert Kennedy III. Pay no attention to any timers that may appear. They are only for special effects. We're not gonna put a timer on, but we got some good stuff. I'm excited. Hey, what's cracking? Hey. I gotta fix that scene. What's going on, brother? How are you doing today? Let me just make sure I turn this off.
Doggone-tastic. How about that?
RK3 is in the house. What is cracking? How's everything? How have you been, brother? There you go. Exactly. You'll throw the sound effect on for good measure.
There you go.
And before I take, because I'm going to take it off the screen. So before I take it off the screen, we are on day 31 of my 100 days of live streaming. 69 days to go, right over my forehead.
You are good.
Yeah.
You are amazing. I mean,
Thank you.
like, yeah.
But you
know how
stream
much
every day. First of all, exactly. You stream every day, multiple times a day.
Well, it's not every day, first of all. It's not every day. It's kind of like, I would probably say I stream like 3 or 4 days a week. And there's some days, like Mondays, I stream like probably like 3 times. I do my 8 o'clock show. I do my 1:30 podcast.
Yep.
And then I do stuff in my groups in the evening, some like my coaching program, etc. So, but I know how it is. Anytime you do anything, when you set a goal like this, and you start out and you're like, word, yeah, what up? And you got this energy. Yeah. And then by like day 15, you're like, man, I'm trying to go on vacation.
Like what? Whose bright idea
I'm trying to
was
hit
this?
up an Airbnb.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So we got questions coming in. I want to make sure Vaughn says hello. Dwayne said hello to you. Obbs says hello. So everybody is excited to have you here. Listen, they came in. I've been hyping it up. I've been saying RK3 is going to come on. RK3 is going to come on. We're going to talk about, I know, look at you with your all different angles and stuff. I know. Let me fix. All right. He's showing off. All right. Let me at least fix my lights. Usually I come and turn off the lights. All right, there you
Oh
go.
my God.
Um,
Turn up. Is that Teddy Pendergrass? Turn out
yes,
the
the
light. Okay, there
lights.
we go.
Exactly right.
Come on
Exactly.
now.
That's not this show. That's not this show, RK3. That's another show.
Yeah. Hold on. We got to get the music right on this
There
one.
you
Hold on.
go.
Here we go.
Exactly.
There we go.
What we
There
got?
we
What we
go.
got? Hey.
Yeah. Come on.
Hey.
It's time. It's time
All right now.
to turn out the lights a little bit.
That's right.
Are y'all ready for the midnight storm at 7:07?
Oh yeah, RK3. Oh, see, you can't put us two together. Oh my goodness, that is hilarious. Paul is reminding everyone, if you have a question for us throughout this process, make sure, definitely today, not that I'm going to be stricter than usual, but we are going to be going through some technical stuff. We're going to be explaining some things, and RK3 is a great teacher. I like to think of myself as a great teacher as well. But with that being said, we are sure that we will have comments, questions. So if you guys want us to repeat something, explain it in a different way, make sure that you put that Q : in front of it so we can get to it. And so now what I want to do is, I know you. You're like my big brother. We've been friends. We immediately kicked
Yeah.
it off, right? And we've been friends now going on 2 years this year. But for anyone in the
Man,
community, it's going on 2 years this November
this
when I jumped
pandemic, it's
in
like,
and yeah.
well, you know what? I say man, but it feels like I've known you forever, right? It feels
Right.
like,
Right.
I mean, it's been 2 years, but it's like in pandemic time, it's like 8. Just
So true.
like,
Right? So true.
yeah.
Hilarious. So why don't we tell everyone who is RK3? What do you do? Do the plugs, do all the things, do your elevator pitch, and go.
All the things. Yeah. So, yeah, all my name's Robert Kennedy III, RK3. That's me, the place to be. Brother meet. No, okay, I'm sorry. I was going back to my the
Wait, wrong
Bronx.
stream again.
Um going back to Grandmaster Flash and my dude Herc. Uh,
Yo, I
yeah.
can't.
So anyway, so yeah, so I do a couple of things. Well, I do one thing in a couple of ways. I own a training company called Kinetic Communications, and we work with organizational leaders. We work with middle managers, low executives, helping them to figure out how to communicate their messages with confidence. Ultimately, how to get their employees to move to action based on the information that they share without overwhelming them. That's one side. But on the other side of the fence, on the B2C side of our company, we work with small business owners, helping them to tell their stories on stage and on video so that they can increase their visibility and generate some income based on the one thing that's unique to them, their story. So
There you
that's
go.
me in a nutshell. Yeah, my dude Paul Duncan, the moderator,
There
has
you go.
posted my speaking page.
He did.
So yeah,
He
there we
did.
go.
Paul is on it. Mr.
Paul's a
Moderator
rock
is on
star.
it. That was good. Yeah. Great
Yeah.
stuff. And so you use Ecamm, it's so funny because
Yeah.
now you have a Rodecaster Pro, but you did not have,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
So
that's
did I
how
tell
you
you the
got into
story behind
Loopback.
that?
Well, you told me the story, but let's tell the community the story. So let's talk about it.
So not that I was against the Rodecaster Pro. I was just like, I didn't need
Mm,
one. Everybody had a Rodecaster Pro, and it was
right.
like,
Right.
$600. I was like, do I want to
A
spend
lot of money.
$600? I
Right.
don't need
Right.
it. And so, because I had a what did I have? I had a Focusrite. I had a Scarlett
Yep.
2i2.
Yep.
I'm like, yo, this puppy is fantastic. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Here's what happened.
What had happened was.
So I joined this Ecamm community, and then there was some cats in here like India Delgado and 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 Doc Rock
Right.
and
Right.
Lem,
Right.
right, that were doing some stuff, and I was kind of like, okay, cool. Then they joined this, they created this other community, Let's Get Live.
Right.
Let's
Right.
Get Live crew. All
Right.
right, so I'm starting to see some different things, but here's what happens: we're in the middle of this pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
and um they different applications become available like Clubhouse and
Yep.
some different things like that. So I'm like,
Yep.
okay, I'm streaming on these platforms. I'm streaming on YouTube. I'm streaming on Facebook. This is great. But sometimes, especially as I deliver virtual presentations, I
Right.
don't only want to have this one mic. I want to have a couple of mics. So I
Yep.
have got this mic here, right? And I have, and we can walk through this a little bit later. I got
Yeah.
a Rode NTG2 shotgun mic that's above me
Yep.
here, But sometimes I wanted to be able to step back and use not a Bluetooth, but like a lavalier or a lapel microphone
Yep. Yep.
for like a widescreen, whatever, and be able to move around my office. So I'm like, okay, I need more inputs.
Right. All the inputs. All the
It's
inputs.
so
Right.
all the inputs.
Right.
So of course, at this point, I'm like, okay, I could go USB and get a USB microphone and mix the USB and the
Yeah.
XLR and all of
Yeah.
that, but you don't want to do that,
Why?
right? So
Right.
a lot of different stuff. So I'm like, okay, cool. I just need more inputs. So I go out and I get a Behringer, a Euphoria
Right.
audio interface that has 4 XLR combo inputs.
Yep. Yep.
So I buy
Okay.
that
Yep.
and I'm like, okay, cool. I got all the inputs.
All
This is
the
all the inputs that
inputs.
I need.
All the
That's it.
inputs.
So I get all the inputs. And then what happens is I'm like, okay, um, I'm doing some different things. I go live on Monday mornings with my Monday morning show, but my Monday morning show, I go live on Instagram as well as I'm
Yeah.
doing these other things. So I have this other phone set up here that's set for Instagram, and I
Yeah.
got another phone set up here that I do like when I'm going on my Amazon Live. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. But then I'm like, okay, the people on Instagram are getting a different audio experience than the
Mhm.
people on the Facebook and etc. They're
Right.
getting it like through my phone.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me see if I can fix that. So I go out and I get like an iRig,
Right. Right.
iRig 2 to like,
Right. To
hook this
XLR,
up, and
whatever.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
XLR, and
Yeah.
I'm doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
So now I've got my iRig, I've got the extra phones,
Yep.
I've got the Behringer, the Euphoria, whatever. And
Yep.
so and now I've got all these cables that I'm like and adapters, because you got to have the TRRS, and you
Right.
got to have the
Right. Right.
quarter inch, and so I'm like jacking all this stuff together. And when I
Right.
look at it, I'm like, wait a minute.
Right. And
Wait a
then
minute.
when you did
I'm
all
like,
the cost analysis of how much you
Yeah.
spent off of everything. Right. Right. Right.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, wait a minute. I
Mm.
could do all of this with the
With just
Rodecaster
one.
Pro
Right.
device.
One. Right.
And so
Let me
so
retract my statement.
I did. I was like, hey, I bow before the throne. Like,
Right.
I said, if I ever spoken negative of thee, please forgive me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
penance to you, 7 Hail Marys and a piece of bread, whatever. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I was just like, yo, I went out and got the Rodecaster, and I got rid of the other stuff.
Yep.
And literally, I was going through all these YouTube videos about how to do this and go to live on Clubhouse and all this. And I'm looking, and then I got the Rodecaster Pro, and I was like, I plugged everything in, and it just worked.
Right.
And I was like, wasted
Man.
all of this time. So
I mean, that's
literally
so right.
now I've got. So check this out, though. I got the Rodecaster Pro, and the Rodecaster Pro only has the one TRRS input
Yep.
in the back, right?
Yep. Yep.
But all I did was I got a TRRS splitter.
Yep.
So now I can go. I've got 2 phone devices. I got an iPhone 11 and iPhone XR.
Yeah.
So I can go to Clubhouse and Instagram and all of my other
you be
stuff
killing it.
simultaneously.
Nice. That's dope. That's dope. That's
And I got all my sound effects. And I got
Right.
my mic and all
Right.
my stuff.
Right.
Yeah, because I was trying to be cheap.
Right. That's it. That's
Simple.
what happens. That's but that was like, I remember, what was it? It was an accomplishment. I think when you hit, was it 1,000 subs? Right, that
Yeah.
you bought the SM7B, right? Like it was
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
that was your goal commitment, because you were using
Yep.
the Rode Pod mic. I mean, you've gone through microphones, but it was the Rode Pod mic before then, right?
Yeah.
And then you got
Yep.
the SM7B, and it sounds great. I
Yep.
love it. I definitely noticed the
Yep.
difference. I was like, oh, y'all are giving me the gas. Y'all are giving me the gas. Paul says
Yeah.
cheap can be expensive, and then
Yeah.
just,
So let me be clear.
ahead. Yep.
It wasn't so much that I was being cheap and like, yeah, I don't want to spend that much money. But I think Doc talks about this all the time, and Diana
Yeah.
talks about this all the time. I wasn't being future thinking.
Proof.
I wasn't like,
Yep. Future forward.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't like, am I buying something for today, or
Right.
where do I see this going, or what do I want to do, and how do I want
Right.
to set myself up? Because
Yep.
I don't want to be in this situation where I'm like, okay, I'm doing this today and I want to do something next week,
Yep.
but now I can't do it because I got to wait for equipment or I got to set my
Right.
stuff up.
Right.
If I already have it, I'm like, boom, 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 let me
Right.
just do this. Yo, I'm going
Yep.
live on Clubhouse and I'm going all these different places and I don't have to wait
Right.
for, Best Buy or Amazon
Right.
or B&H Photo or whoever,
Right.
or Mercari or wherever you get stuff
Right. Right.
to
Right.
ship stuff to my door. It's here.
Yeah.
It's here
Yeah.
because I thought about what the future
Yeah. I agree.
implementations are going
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, I try to be that way with the additional parts, right? Like so I say it's like having the tools in the toolbox because it'll be that one
Yeah.
circumstance where you need it. So kind of like, I bought the Rodecaster Pro early on,
Mhm.
but I still decided to invest in Loopback because it was like, all right, we get the $30 discount through Ecamm. I understand what it does. I don't know when I may need it, but I'd rather have it now, know how to use it, right? Because that's
Yeah.
what the comments on both our videos, it's like, oh, help, I have a Zoom tomorrow and I have a really bad echo. It's like, no, like,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I totally get that with thinking about what is the value in this? When can I see me using this in a whatever particular circumstance? Do I mind
Yeah.
investing in it now? Because it'll be that one time they call me for the bank tomorrow and be like, India, we need you to do whatever it is tomorrow. And it's now 8 o'clock at night. Where am I getting whatever
Yeah.
that piece may be? Right. So I'm totally with it. Totally with it.
Yeah.
Pastor Vaughn is getting his Rodecaster Pro tomorrow. He's excited.
That's what I'm
He's
talking about, homie.
excited.
Let's go.
Yes. All right. So how do you want to start? Do you want to start talking about Loopback? Do you want to talk about virtual mic? What do you think?
Well, let's start with the questions. So
Okay.
what brought this question about in the first place? I mean, we did this video last year. Was
Yeah.
it last year? Was
It
it in
was it
2020?
no, it was last year.
It
I
was
was at my brother's house.
last
So it
year.
was
Okay.
last year, probably like in
Yeah.
February. Yeah.
Right. So we did this video last year with my brother because
Yep.
at the time, we were trying to not break Ecamm, but
Right.
we were trying to, because some people were like, yeah, we want to bring 49 people from
Right. Right.
Zoom into Ecamm. So we, we were like
Okay.
trying to figure out how to have
Right.
Zoom and Ecamm talk to each other so
Yeah.
everybody could hear, what was going on. And
Right.
so we did this thing where we were like, okay, let's use Loopback to allow the conversation to take place two ways.
Yeah.
So Ecamm, Glenn, and Ken and
Right. Glenn
Glenn,
and right. Glenn
um,
and Ken. Right. Right.
right,
Yeah.
was like, yeah, they listen to this, they listen to their consumers, they listen to their customers, and we're like,
Right.
yeah, this virtual mic thing is gonna make life so much easier for us
Right.
because some of us don't understand the whole loopback thing and how to get it
Right.
both ways, etc.
Right.
I'm just trying to go to Zoom with my Ecamm.
Right.
And so they did that. And so now they've got this thing where you can bypass the loopback and just use the Ecamm virtual mic if
Right.
you're trying to go live on Zoom. Now, here's the other thing, and here's the other thing that people don't always recognize why the virtual mic is so sexy,
Mm.
right? Because when you get into this state where you're using the mirrorless cameras or the
Yeah.
DSLRs or whatever,
Yeah.
sometimes and you're using a capture card like a cam link,
Yeah.
sometimes there's a little bit of a delay, right?
Right.
Sometimes there's a little bit of a lag, and so
Yeah.
we would compensate for that by going into the mic delay option
Right.
in Ecamm.
Right.
However, what happens sometimes is that now if I use another camera or I use something else
Yep.
or another device, that mic delay doesn't always sync up with my camera because I'm coming into Zoom with my camera and the mic delay that I
Yeah.
added in Ecamm
Yep.
doesn't
Doesn't.
apply
Right.
in Zoom,
Right. Yeah. Yep.
right?
Yep.
Because I'm
Yep.
using my regular mic.
Right.
So now we got the virtual mic, and so the mic delay and the camera are all coming from the same place, and so I'm synced up again. So that's I just for those that were
Yep.
kind of like wondering why or what we talking about, I just kind of wanted to share some of the experience and the why
Yep.
behind some of that. So
Yep.
Qual is like K Walk is like
What?
this is it's a ZVE10.
Yeah, that's the second
Yeah.
time she
I
asked the
mean,
question. K-walk is very
okay.
persistent, so I wanted to
Yeah.
make. I
Yeah.
was gonna
So
get to it.
it's a
K-walk cheese.
yeah, it's a ZV-E10. We're using you know the superstar lens all of us use. The
Sigma
Sigma
16
16
millimeter.
millimeter.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Yeah. So
So it
um
could be, and you've always looked, even before the ZVE10,
mhm.
I've always loved your image. I think it's
Mhm.
also with the way you have your room set up, with your
Yeah,
placement,
yeah.
right? Like, and your lighting. Talk a little bit about that,
It's
because I think that's why
the
it makes,
lighting.
right. Let's talk about that, because
Yeah.
it's not,
I
we can
mean,
have the same camera, but that's why you look
yeah.
as smooth as you do. So go ahead.
And you're talking about me. I mean, I've watched your stuff over the last 18 months.
Yeah.
And like the growth in your lighting
Thank
from
you.
when you had, you had the
The
green
green
screen, the
screen.
sheet
Yeah.
behind you,
Right, right, right.
um,
It's true, right?
right?
The freaking corner.
to to now where you
Right,
literally you got this room, you got the sexy blue lighting
right,
in the black in the back. This is like the Total Recall lighting,
right,
in
right.
the back, um, right? And then sometimes you have on the screen in the
In the
back, which
back,
is
you
kind of like,
notice that. See, attention to
yeah,
detail. Yes.
listen, you got like little movements, and some people
Right.
like,
Yeah.
but it's just these subtle little
Right.
things in
Right.
the background that make a difference
Right.
for people. So the lighting, and I
Go
went
ahead.
through this with one of my classes the other day.
Yep.
I have this thing called Video Storytellers Academy, and we
Yeah.
were walking through lighting the other day. And
Yep.
so in my setup here, I've got three lights. I've got two Elgato key lights. I actually used to have the key light airs, but I got rid of them, and
Yeah.
I got two key lights. And
Yep.
the other day I just got a key light mini. Um
Ooh.
because I wanted
Yeah.
to add just a third, just right beside one of my side cameras here. So, like, I'll go through this real quick.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the shadowing. So you've got your key light and you've got
Yep.
your fill light, right? Um, a lot of times I keep my fill light off or really low because it kind of brings a
Yep.
character
Yep.
to the side, right? So if I turn on my key light
Yep.
or my
Right.
fill light,
Yep.
you see me, I'm brighter,
Yep.
but it's not as mysterious. It's not as,
Right. Right.
you know,
Right.
right? So, I mean, I'll even show you what happens. So in January, I fell and I got some bruises on
Oh
my
no.
face. If I turn
Okay.
this way,
Yeah.
you can kind of see them a little bit still, right?
Yep.
A little bit of scars.
Yep.
So with
Yep.
this light, you can see it. I turn it off, it
Right.
was just gone away, like
Right.
full sexy on display,
Right.
right?
Right. Right.
So,
Right. Right. And then you got the deep voice to match with it, and I peeped
yeah.
that. Right.
Exactly. Exactly. So when I'm doing my podcast, one of the things that I do is I'll have like this camera on,
Right.
right? But I'll have this light on. This is the fill light, but I'll add a little bit more light
Yep.
with the key light mini now to
Yep.
kind of get, just a little bit
Yep.
more character. And then the angle, because
Yep.
I don't have a flat background anymore. The angling
Yep.
kind of brings things out
Makes it pop.
a little bit. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so that's kind of what's,
Yeah.
the setup a little bit here.
Yeah. I think that that's a lot of people, right? And so it's the same thing for me
Mm,
with the background and stuff like that, right? So what I've noticed is, because of the Sigma 16 millimeter and I'm front and center, everything else,
right.
it's your depth of field effect. I can come back.
Yeah.
And if I come back, right, it's going to bring everything else into
Yeah.
frame. So I think that the biggest thing that people have to do when they're messing with this stuff is
Yeah.
really play around with their background, right? And what's in the
Yeah.
background. And then the other
Yeah.
piece of it is the angling of the lights, twofold. It's
Yep.
the angling of the lights, also the temperature of the lights, and the
Yes.
brightness. So it's three: angling,
Yep.
temperature,
Yep.
and brightness.
Yep.
And so it's so funny. You are invested in the Elgato lights, just like me. So right now I'm only using one key light, and that's because
Yeah.
it's literally right here, an Elgato key
Right.
light. I actually do have a second key light that I said I was going to mount to the ceiling, and have it like
Mhm.
right here in the ceiling behind me, coming down, so I can
Okay.
use it as a hair light.
Hair light. Yeah.
I just haven't gotten around to it because I don't want wires hanging from my ceiling, so I need to figure that
Yeah.
out first. Um,
Yeah,
But
but
and then I
you've also got to consider your spacing with that because a lot of people hear 3-point lighting. Okay, I need 3 lights, and then
and
they're
you
kind
don't.
of jamming it in,
Right.
and you only have my space right here is like it's not a big room. It's like 120
Right.
square feet. It's like a 10 by 10, 10 by
Right.
11 room, right?
Right.
And so I was like, do I need that backlight? Because
Right.
I don't really have that much space. It's just like it's extra light. I want
Right.
some character. I want some shadowing to
Right.
really help
Right.
provide some things. I mean, and if you go wide on me again, I'll just point out a
Yep.
couple other things that make a difference, right?
Go ahead.
So
Yep.
you're kind of looking and you see like the strip lighting in the background,
Yep.
right? And you see the Edison light there. All of that is like super intentional.
Right.
I didn't just get lights and like let me throw them up in the back, right? It was I got those lights for a couple of reasons, and I'll walk through why I got them. So if I turn them off right now, right,
Yep.
you'll see that in the back
Yep.
it's just like a brown dead
Right. Right. Yeah.
background,
Yep.
right? But I put these lights on for a couple of reasons. Number one, my brand colors are blue and orange, and this is
Right.
kind of a subtle nod to that. So we got the blue strip
Yep.
as well as the orange-ish
Bulb.
um,
Yep.
Edison light. So
Yep.
that's a nod to that. Number two, it also subtly provides a little bit of attention on some books in the background, which are my books that I wrote.
Right.
Right. So
Yep.
I want to scream author
Hello.
without
Right.
screaming.
Exactly. Right.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
So I'm doing that, and then also because of the coloring, so I'm looking at the shade of my skin,
Yep.
right? My complexion, so funny story, when I was when my daughter was like 2 years old, she was coloring. She was
Mm-hmm.
coloring and she was drawing a picture of our family, and she was coloring all of the different things in the picture. And
Yeah.
then she colored this table, she got the brown crayon. She
Yeah.
colored a tree outside and she got like the green crayon. And then she was coming to color daddy and she was like, "Can I get the orange crayon?" You-
That's
so,
cute but hilarious. That's so
so
funny.
right. So yeah, so my complexion is orangish, right?
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I've got to look at my complexion, and
Yeah.
based on my complexion, I want to be
Yep.
able to stand out from the background,
Right.
right? But I also
Right.
didn't want my background to be too bright. I didn't want to use a white color because white
Yep.
reflects light, right?
Yep.
White bounces light. Lighter colors bounce light.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, I wanted something a little bit darker, but I also want I don't want it to be so dark that it looks dead and I don't create interest. So that's part of what the lighting is and what the lighting does and all of the
Right.
different things I've thought through as we've built this over the
Exactly.
last, gosh, year or two. Since March of 2020 is kind of
Yep.
we've been really intentional about
Yep.
adding little things. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. No, that's great. Great stuff. And exactly that, right? So I use like my recessed lighting and then it depends on the mood as well, right? So like when I'm
Yeah.
doing my presentations from the bank, I don't have any of the, what is it? Total recall lights. I don't have none of that stuff going on. I'm just my regular white light, the recessed lighting. And then I still use my key light a little bit.
Right.
And then the other thing, right, with the key lights that we use, the Elgato key lights, and if you get Viltrox and if you get other stuff, you can definitely mess around with it. But it's not just like, so we said, right? So it's the brightness, it's the angle, but then it's also the Kelvin, the temperature. And you have to mess
Yep.
around with that because what works for me with the Kelvin may not work for RK3. Right. So you can do something
Right.
like on mine. So we have, let me see if I change, if we go here and then we'll get back into our regular loop back, right?
Yeah.
But if I change, it's going to change my tone drastically, right? So that's on the very low
Yep.
end of 2900 Kelvin. And then if I bring this on the opposite end, this is 7000 Kelvin. So I go from
Right.
looking more like Casper the Ghost and pasty, like this brings out my lighter Puerto Rican side, where then this brings
Yeah.
in what the Taino Indian side, and like I'm neither, right? So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
so for me, what works is I usually keep it at 4700 Kelvin
Mhm.
for me. And then the brightness of the Elgato key light is just at 15%. So even so,
Right.
whether it's like this for the bank or like when I'm hanging out with you guys, the 15% brightness is pretty good for me, but you got to mess around with all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then, like you
You
said,
definitely
all
do.
the accent lighting and things, you'll get there, but you got to play around with it. So
Yep. Actually, I mean, we were just like I said in the video academy, we were just
yep,
talking about those three things: positioning,
yep,
brightness, and temperature. And
right,
so, we were talking about the darker that you are, you kind of want to think about using cooler temperatures because your skin already has a
right,
more brownish tone
exactly.
to it.
Yep,
But if you're more
yep,
light or pale, then you kind of want to go up in
yep,
warmth a
yep,
bit, right?
yep,
So it kind of, evens that out. So yeah, you got to definitely
yeah,
think through those types of things as you are figuring
yep.
out where you want to go.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. And then I want to make sure because also Gigi had her question. Gigi asked, and that's because she hates her mic arm. She wanted to know
Uh,
what mic arm are you using?
so I don't even remember what this one is. It's very
Is that?
similar to the
Oh,
Rode
it's not the road.
PSA. It's not the Rode, but it's like super similar to it. But check this out. Hold on one second. I just got two boxes that I haven't
Mm.
opened yet. But hold on one
Uh
second.
oh. Go ahead. Go ahead. So we got some boxes. We got some things. We got some things.
Hold on one second.
We love boxes. Go ahead. We love boxes here. And if you
All
guys
right.
have any
Cool.
questions, while Robert, I'm gonna
So
change to that other scene because I have the both of us. So this one here. If you guys, oh, that's the wrong scene. If you guys have any questions about Loopback,
so box number one. Oh,
oh,
hold on,
stream.
hold on. That's
Oh,
not the one I want to show yet.
oh,
Hold on.
nope. Okay.
Yeah.
And
All
Paul
right.
says, warning, viewing this stream is at your own risk. India, her subsidiaries, or her mods are not responsible for any negative impact on your net worth. Warning.
Yeah. Okay. This is the box I wanted to show you.
All right. Hey, Laura, how are you? Laura came in just in
All
time.
right.
We haven't really spoken about the stuff yet. Ooh. So Gigi hates, that's the one I have. Gigi hates it. She has it.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing that I know that I need to be considerate about because it's low profile, it can
Yep.
get in the way of
Yeah.
like my positioning. But my desk is not like everybody else's. I've
Yeah.
got a keyboard tray that's underneath my
Cool.
desk, so
Okay.
that's not going to get in the way
Yeah.
of me. I just need to figure out my position. But I wanted to get this because I wanted to test out what it would look like to not have this arm
That
in
in
the
the
way
scene, in
some of
the
the time.
screen. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Quick question.
yeah.
So open that up. So it's so funny because I got that. I got it for Angie, and Angie got
Uh-huh.
hers a month ago. I got mine when it was released. Angie's has a knob on the arm where mine doesn't have a knob. So
Okay.
Angie's has like the Elgato knob arms for like, the key light and stuff. This one,
Right.
it's just Allen keys. And so when Angie got hers, I said, I wonder if maybe, and I think Gigi got hers when it first released. So if they changed the manufacturing, maybe they found that this new way, if yours is the one like how Angie's has it, it could be that Gigi has a defective one. Oh, look at, he's fancy. He gave us
Okay.
his overhead shot. All right.
Well,
I see
listen, this
you.
my office is a mess right now, right? So y'all are getting all of the things. You're getting all of
So
the
he has
stuff.
his iPad. What is that? The Pro?
Yeah, this
The
is an
iPad.
iPad Pro.
The iPad Pro. So he's watching YouTube
Yeah.
there, keeping an eye on the comments. He has
Yeah.
his
Okay.
iPhone
So
behind him. See, I'm checking it. I'm going. He has a
yeah.
$2 bill there, I guess, for good
Yes,
luck.
that's a $2 bill on my desk. I keep that. Yeah.
It's
I
two
got a
dollar
$2
bill.
bill. I got a couple of SSD
There you go.
drives. I got my
Key
Stream Deck Mini
Mini. Yep.
and my
His
regular
trackpad.
Stream Deck XL.
There you go.
And
Right.
mess on the floor, an old Mac Mini that's not working
Yep.
over there in the corner.
Yep. Yep.
So all right, so
That's
yeah,
so
so we
funny.
got this.
Yep.
So what are we looking for? What are
There
we looking
should be
for?
a knob on where like the elbow joint is in the middle.
Okay,
Is there a
this
knob?
right
The other
here.
side. Yep, on the other side. That.
Oh
So
yeah,
the
there's the knob.
original ones, and everybody said, so yeah, the newer ones have a knob. Paul has a knob. So Gigi,
Okay,
you may have to call and get yours replaced. Mine does not have a knob. So they must have realized
right.
that with the knob, that's a little bit
Okay,
better. Um,
okay.
because what Gigi says is that hers keeps drooping regardless of how much she
Oh,
tightens it.
okay.
And I'm pretty sure, see, this is what happens when you mess around with stuff, India. What did I do here? Oh, man. Well, there goes that scene. We're going to leave that like that. All
Yeah.
right, fine.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, I'll put mine. so my
Yeah.
the way that, again, my stuff is here.
Yep.
So putting that across here is
Yep.
not really going to have any effect. And because I've got the iPad on this arm,
Right.
etc.,
Yep.
it's,
You can swing it out the
and this
way.
this is raised. So
Yep.
underneath here is like my cal digit and my I've got some stuff on my cable management is terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, it's all right. It's all right.
yeah.
That's so funny.
Um, but yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So the other thing that I've got, and I'll probably have you do a tutorial on this for me, is,
yeah.
did I show you the other thing?
I
Did you
saw
see
really
the other
quick.
thing?
It's the Stream Deck
Okay.
pedal. I saw really quick. But I mean, this
Yes.
this this crew, they love unboxing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me see. So I would tell you with the Stream Deck pedal, and for those of you guys that really want to know about the Stream Deck, I have a whole Stream Deck masterclass. So I'm going to give you guys a tidbit.
Yeah.
But if you want to know in detail, I go over the Stream Deck pedal in the masterclass.
Yeah.
But what I will say, excuse me, with the Stream Deck, so like you have two. You have your little mini,
Yeah.
and then you have the
Mhm.
XL. Create multiple profiles for your Stream Deck pedal because it's only
Yes.
3 buttons. And then now one of the profile buttons with the Stream Deck is that it just cycles through its next profile. So for my Stream
Mhm.
Deck, I just have one that it's next and I keep pressing it. And so then I have a profile for Zoom. I actually have 2 profiles for Ecamm. I have one
Yeah.
when I'm recording, so it'll be pause, record, proceed. Then I have one for next scene and previous scene. And then I can filter through them pretty
Yeah.
much with that next profile button. Or you can take
Okay.
advantage of smart profiles, but that can be a pain in the butt if you're using Zoom and Ecamm at the same time, because then whichever
Yeah.
app is active, it's
Yeah.
gonna
I
go
don't
to
like.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. The Zoom takes over everything. Yeah.
right. Right,
So
exactly. So that's what I would say. I would do multiple profiles, and then on one of your Stream Decks, just use the switch profile next, and then you can go through it really quick. All
yeah.
right.
All right. Cool. So what do we want to? Let's kind of walk through. I mean, I think I gave everybody a little bit of gas and
Yep, you did.
us
You
off
did.
track here for a little bit.
That's okay.
but
It's
but
all good.
yeah, Irving's like yeah, getting his foot pet. No, who's that? Oh, Irving's like loves the Stream Deck pedal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
awesome.
Obs is getting
Yeah.
her replacement because she had gotten a dud as well. So hers replacement
Okay.
is coming tomorrow. All
Yeah.
right. So now, okay. So what we were basically saying is that the twins said, all right, a lot of people need Loopback. They want Loopback. They don't know how to use Loopback. They want it all in one. They don't want to pay the $70. So let's create a virtual
Pay the
mic.
$70.
Right,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. That's what I
So
always say that. I've been
okay.
saying that, pay the $70. So let's talk about what virtual mic does first.
Okay. So virtual mic inside of Ecamm, again, takes all of the sound that you are putting into Ecamm
Right,
and pumps it somewhere else, wherever you want to go. I'm using virtual mic right now with India, right?
right,
So if you go into Ecamm's browser, the back end, if you're a guest in Ecamm, or if you go into StreamYard or to Restream or whatever as a guest, you can use another microphone other than the default microphone that's on your computer. And
right,
so Ecamm virtual microphone is the one that I use now because it
yep,
allows me to take every sound that is coming into Ecamm and pump it out into wherever I'm appearing, right?
right,
So in some cases that's Zoom. In this case, right now I'm here. So I've got a Rodecaster Pro now, so I have sounds or songs that I can play, right? And you'll hear all of the sound
right,
because Rodecaster is what I've selected.
right,
Now, the thing that happens with me is that because I do so much streaming and virtual sessions, I use
yeah,
music a lot.
right,
And
right,
so I don't always want to be swapping back and forth between the different banks in the
right,
Rodecaster's buttons,
yep,
right? And so sometimes I want to have additional sounds
yep, yep,
available to me.
yep,
And so I use a program called Farrago, which is also by Rogamipa.
Right.
And so how do I get my Farrago sounds into Ecamm?
Right.
So let me kind of see if I can share screen and walk
Go ahead.
through a little bit of that.
Hold on.
So
Let's go this way.
I'm
Go
just
ahead.
gonna go, I'm just gonna go entire screen for a second here. It's gonna
Go
be
ahead.
small. Actually, no, let me do this. So here's Farrago. So I've got all these sounds inside of Farrago, right?
Hold on. Do I need
So
to do something? I'm
you,
not seeing anything. Hold on. Oh, wait.
yeah,
I
you
got to
got, I think
select
you
it.
gotta
I
share,
got to
you gotta
select it.
bring
So
the
let's
other
do
guy
this.
in.
Can I do screen
Yeah.
share? And then can we do assign? Oh, look at this. So we're going to assign. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to do this on the fly. Actually,
Yep.
and I don't want to. I'm going to do, yeah, I do. Because then that's new. Where you can assign the screen share as a
As a
camera.
guest. Yeah.
I didn't
Or as a
know
camera.
that.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yep.
let me get this border out of here because we don't need the borders. No distraction on the
You don't need the
borders.
border.
And then, hold on. What's happening? Shape. Oh, I don't want quarter
Just,
radiuses.
yeah,
That's what I'm
not
trying to.
shape.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
there
what's
we go.
happening here? And then let me
Yeah.
do custom. And then, here you go.
Yeah. So I've got and you can see the names. I won't play any of this because I don't want India's stream to be like
No, no, thank you.
copyright
Not
infringed,
demonetized.
right?
Exactly. No.
Right. Right. So, I've got stuff, Prince, I Would Die for You, Bobby McFerrin, Hey Ya. We got
Right.
all this stuff that's here. And you can see that I've got all of these things here. And if you were to look at them a little bit closer, right below the sound wave or below the waveform, you see letters. So these are
Yep.
literally hotkeys as well. So I can hotkey these sounds with
Right.
my keyboard. Now,
Right.
I want to have access to all of these sounds, and as many keys as I have on the keyboard, I can use each key to hotkey a sound. But
Right.
sometimes, but again, I don't want to have to use the sound board on the Rodecaster to access
Right.
these. I want access to all of
Yep.
these sounds at one time.
Yep.
So what I do is I create a virtual mic in Loopback
Right.
and I bring that in
Yep.
as a microphone into Ecamm,
Yep.
right? So if I go to Ecamm, so if I stop that share for a
Yep.
second,
Yep.
um, and I go to my, let me see, where is it? Let me just use this one. Okay, so if I go to my sound levels window in Ecamm,
Yep.
right? Can you move that over a little bit? I think you can scroll over slightly so that people can see
Hold on.
this.
Let me make this smaller.
Right.
What do you want me to
Do me a
show
favor.
now?
I think I don't know if this is gonna work or not, but like, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So
Okay.
if everybody sees that plus button that's right beside my microphone, that
Yep.
allows me to add another microphone inside of Ecamm. So if I click that button, now another microphone shows up, right?
Right.
So that's a USB digital audio. You're not seeing my it's not showing my menu that pops up, but
Right. Yeah.
I can also, so I've got my iPad. Oh, it's not showing the iPad right now. That's okay. Let me see 1 second. Let me see. Okay, click to start that. Okay, don't want to do that. All right, let me click one more thing. Okay, there we go. All right, so here's what we're doing. So if I go in, I can switch and I can select my iPad. So here's what we're doing.
Oh,
So
wait.
if I
Hold on. There's
did
an
you hear
echo.
that echo? Go
I
in,
did.
I can
Yeah.
switch, yeah, and and I why it's can an echo. select
All
my
right.
iPad. So here's what we're doing.
Oh,
So
wait.
if I
Hold on. There's
right, it's an echo is because my iPad is playing the audio from our stream.
right.
So I was able to pull that in. But what I do is I've created a virtual mic inside of Loopback soundboard,
Right.
right? So what I did was I pulled my Farrago into that virtual mic. So now if I go over to Loopback, Where you at, Loopback? There we go. All right. So if I go over to Loopback,
Okay, let me see. Make this bigger.
make it bigger. Make it bigger. Okay, there we go. So I've got a this.
This way. Hold on, I'm gonna make this bigger. Nope. This thing is there. You go.
Right.
Let's do this, and then what I'm gonna do is, I want to go this way. There you go. And
Yeah.
I need RK3 right here. There you go. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So I've got this virtual mic that I've created inside of Loopback, and that is what I've pulled into Ecamm, and I can have access to all of these sounds. Now, how do you create a virtual mic in Loopback? Really simple, really easy. If you go down to the very bottom, I think you might need to scroll up just a little bit. Um,
Uh,
on my track, do you
hold
have
on.
what kind of mouse do you have?
Well, I got the track wheel, but
Okay, I think if you scroll up on the track wheel,
no, it's
I don't
gonna make it
remember how
smaller or bigger.
let's make it. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
there
know.
you
I
go.
know that
I
when
got you.
on my track, but okay, there
There
we
you
go.
go.
Cool. So down at the bottom, you can see this thing that says "New Virtual Device." If I click
Yep.
"New Virtual Device,"
There you go.
um, virtual device is created, and I'm just going to call this SB2 for the purposes of this example. And then right at the beginning here, I've got when I create a virtual mic, there's a pass through that comes in, and for this in this case, I don't really need it, so I can either delete it or I can just turn it off. I'm just going to turn it off. And what I
Right.
want to do is I want to click that plus button where it says sources, right? And hold on one second. Let me see if it'll show you my pro mouse or not. I don't
So
know if
while
it
you're
will. No.
looking, right? So while you're doing that, so what? And I did not understand this until I spoke to Paul. Is
Mhm.
that not Paul? I'm looking at Paul's name until I spoke to RK3. Is
Right.
that so? Ecamm's virtual microphone will send out whatever Ecamm hears,
Correct.
right? And so it's like, oh my God, this can replace loopback, blah, blah, blah. This is great. But that is not true. Because what
Yeah.
happens is that you need with depending on what apps you are using. So like that's why RK3 showed us Farrago is because he's using that app to bring sound effects in. I use the Stream
Correct.
Deck app to bring sound effects in to
Correct.
Ecamm. You need
Yep.
Loopback to send those sounds to Ecamm. Ecamm won't pick
Correct.
up those sounds. So once Ecamm picks up those sounds using Loopback, then in
Mhm.
theory you can use the virtual microphone and
Yep.
send everything out through Ecamm.
Correct.
However, for me, this is why like RK3 and I are on right, and Paul said it perfectly. Virtual mic is a one-way street. Once you've
Right.
already invested in Loopback will do everything for you two ways, right? So you're
Yep.
paying $70, but it's going to do everything. The only time I would say that virtual mic is good is like now if you're bringing in an audio file that Ecamm can play, because there are
Mhm.
some updates, and I think if you're bringing in a Chrome window or something that you can choose play audio, there are certain things where now there's a little bit more capability like the
Yeah.
Rodecaster Pro that has its own sound effects. So now that's going into Ecamm natively. So Virtual Mic will send that out where it didn't do that
Right.
before. But if you're using any additional apps, whether it's like Faraja, whether it's Stream Deck app, even if it's QuickTime, if you want to
Yep.
get an audio source from QuickTime and you want everybody to hear it, then you need Loopback. I just wanted to make sure
Correct.
I clarified why we
Yep.
still need Loopback. All right, so go ahead.
Yep. Exactly. So I click on sources
Yep.
here, and I already have Farrago open, so I'll just select it as one of the sources. Although for some reason you're not seeing the menu pop up on the share screen there, but
Mm-hmm.
but you see it pop up there,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
So now I've got sounds that I can play. So for example, I have um
You can play your sound effects. You
a
got a bunch of sound effects that you
I'm
can
about to.
play.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I'm about to play. So there's this playlist that I have, and why I like Farrago is because let me actually stop share for a second and go back to Farrago. so that everybody can see this. I
Yeah.
like Farrago because, um, I just kind of like if you had your Apple Music application open, Farrago
Yep.
can do like playlists as well. So in addition to, so like if I'm doing my live streams or if when I'm doing like my corporate sessions, I'll start out my corporate session with some music. Where's my corporate music? Where is it? I don't see. I think I moved it, but yeah, whatever. So I've got corporate music. This is not corporate. Oh no, look,
Here
I
and
should
yeah,
click
yeah,
on
yeah.
the
There you
word
go.
the word
Corporate. I
corporate.
was gonna say, but I was,
That would be
maybe
helpful.
I didn't know. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
you're
know.
like, yeah. So I mean, I don't play like reggaeton or anything like that for corporate, but I'm like,
Right.
no bachata, right?
No, no.
I play. I,
Ding, 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 ding.
yeah, there we go. But I'm like, I want to get some energy in my corporate crowds, so I'm
Right.
like, okay, let's go, y'all. Come on,
Hey,
hey, let's go,
hey,
hey, a little bit of light,
hey,
so I'll play
hey.
that. Right, so stuff happens. I'll stay stuff. I've got a corporate list here of things. Something happens. Somebody gets a wrong answer. I'm like, oh my gosh. Right?
I keep saying I need this app. I need this
Yeah.
app. Damn it.
So so I've got a bunch of stuff in here, but I also use it like if I'm streaming in the background. And I know you can play music in Ecamm, but I like to use this because there is I can just set up songs
Yeah.
and just let it go. Right? I can just
Yeah.
let it go and I don't have to worry about
Right.
anything. So, music playing in the background, so I'm just keep it playing. I'm gonna turn
Yeah.
it down for just a moment.
Yeah.
Right? And then I'm gonna stop the share and I'm gonna go back to Loopback.
Yep.
All right. So if I go back to Loopback, right? So inside of Loopback, of course, you see the music. You see that something's happening. So let's say, for example, that I wanted to also add in, like, I have playlists in Apple Music. I'll select that application, and where's my applications? Come on.
And so while we set this up, guys, if you guys have any questions,
there you
as we're going, let us know, whether it's about Farrago, whether it's about Loopback, whether it's about Ecamm, Virtual Mic. Let us know the circumstances. The most popular circumstance for this, that is like the number one request, is using Zoom and bringing the guests back and forth. So make sure you let us know.
Right. So here's what's happening. So I want people to understand this. So sound is coming out of Farrago.
Right.
And because I have selected, hold on one second. Let me actually switch it to, I'll keep it there. Let's see. Is it working? Oh, all right. I just selected the wrong thing. That's okay. Let me go back to soundboard. Yeah. Okay. So because I've selected Farrago, the sound is coming out of Farrago, and because I've selected that virtual microphone in Ecamm, it's coming into Ecamm. So technically, what we can do here as well is I can also just add Zoom.
Right.
Right. So if I were to go to my applications and add Zoom, I'm just adding this so people can see what happens here, right? So any sounds that are coming out of Zoom through the Zoom speaker direction are now coming into Ecamm,
right,
via this virtual microphone that I have created, right. So I just want everybody to kind of see how this works. So sometimes the question that people ask are like, well, why don't I just share the sound from my system audio here? Well, here's the deal. Your system audio is picking up everything, every sound that your computer is making. So if you got notifications coming in, if you got sounds that are coming on a browser or a tab or whatever, you're getting all of that. What Loopback does is it allows you to select the specific applications that you want sound to come from and
Yep.
port them to any direction or anywhere that you want it to go.
Yep. So we have some
Right?
questions that are coming up.
Yep. Let's go through it.
Let's see. So Laura, and I know Laura was waiting for this stream. Laura says, I have my live guest. I want to be able to have my live guest to hear my main stage, or lower the music in the background. RK3.
Yep. My bad.
No, it's all good. I want to be able to have my live guests hear my main stage or Logic Pro or iTunes library or YouTube during my live stream. How can I do this?
Okay, so let me understand that. So she's got her live guests.
Yep.
She wants what's her main stage?
Main stage is like another it's like Logic Pro. It's an audio app.
Okay.
So
Okay.
a music audio
Right.
app.
Okay.
Yep.
So she wants them to be able to hear it and not her.
I think it's if I'm understanding, she just basically listed three apps, so Mainstage, Logic Pro, or iTunes Library during the live stream. So basically, just three different software applications.
Okay, so yeah, so that's the same thing that we're talking about here. So
Yep.
you could literally just create a virtual mic with Mainstage, with Logic Pro, and your iTunes library in the same way that you see I've got Farrago and the music and the Zoom app there, and playing something from any of those and selecting it as a microphone, selecting that virtual microphone as a microphone in Ecamm is going to allow your guests to hear that.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to excuse me, I'm going to switch the screen share, and I'm going to do my Loopback. Hold on, so I got to actually switch this overlay back to screen share. Is that it? Okay, that is it there. And I have my Loopback. That's my Loopback. So, because I have, and then, so, hold on 1 second, folk. Let me just do this really quick. What I want to do is tighten this. Gonna tighten this. Do a custom size. And what I did, guys, was I just tightened the overlay using Option. So I cropped it and then bring it in. And it's like a little bit of back and forth. And then what I'm going to do is just go back to my Loopback. If I can get the handle. Let me look at it. It's acting weird. Hold on, guys. Sorry. I can't grab it. Okay, there it is. That was weird. All right. All right. So here's my Loopback. So Laura, what you would want to do is basically like on the bottom. Let me hide this overlay really quick so you guys can see. So on the bottom down here where you have new virtual device, we're going to do a whole new microphone. So you need Loopback, Laura. That's basically the short and narrow. Once you have Loopback, you're going to go in and let's say we're going to do Logic. I'm going to just name this here and I'm going to do Logic Mainstage etc, right? And then we're going to turn off pass through.
Yep.
And then I'm going to bring my sources in. And so with my sources, here you can select your applications. This was what RK3 wanted to show you guys. So you have your select application. So I'm going to look for Logic. Did that pop up? Not that Logic. I know I have Logic. Logic Pro. And I think I have Mainstage. So then here's the thing, right? And so this is really important, Laura, when you're doing this, that you're adding in, and this is for anyone who's adding in a virtual microphone, you want to uncheck this mute when capturing. Make sure you uncheck that, right? So now I'm going to bring in select application, and then she said Mainstage. So I'm going to just search for Mainstage. And then I'm going to do the same thing, this options box, uncheck mute when capturing. And then she said iTunes. So I don't know if I have iTunes. Do I still have like iTunes? Is that a thing? No,
It's called
it's
music.
it's
Just
called
look for music.
shut up, shut up. I
Yeah.
thought so. Right. And then the same thing, mute when capturing, right? So if I were to open up now, and so we name this mic Logic, Mainstage, etc. You name it whatever you want it to name. You add in,
Right.
so that's your microphone. So if we're gonna do this, now you know that the Logic mic is gonna be where your applications are for what you're saying. Then
Mhm.
in the sources, in this section here is where you're going to bring in the applications that you are bringing music in from into Ecamm. So right now you
Yeah.
mentioned those three, and then I'm done with this part here. So then the next thing that we do is that we can turn on live demo mode. And once
Yep.
we turn on live demo mode, did that work? Can you guys see? I don't know what you guys are
Yep.
seeing.
You can see it. I see
Okay.
it.
All right, so let me move some stuff around. So what you, oh, I should have just done what you said. I'm actually gonna turn live demo mode off.
Mhm.
No, because I don't know if that'll show the windows, right? So what we're gonna focus on is this
Yeah. I mean, you
sound
can share
levels.
you can share the specific window if you use your
But
share
will that
screen.
do
That's
that?
fine.
Let me see. So, all right, so
Yeah.
we share. Oh, so I kept share the entire screen, so that should work. So I'm gonna turn live demo mode off. No,
Yeah.
but you guys won't see then this here, right? You
Well,
guys
no, I'm
can't
saying
see.
you can share the specific window, like the sound levels window.
Um,
So if I were
yeah.
to,
Yeah, but will that give the drop down? No. See, that's the thing. When you
no, it
share the
doesn't give the
specific
drop down.
window,
Yes,
right? So
has
let me
to.
go back
Yeah.
to live demo mode. That's why I did that
Yep.
because it
Perfect.
won't give. Okay, over here. Oh, I hung up on RK3. Oh no. Let me text him. Ah. I'm sorry. I hit end.
I'm like, you kicked me
I
out.
hit end. I did. I hit end when I was doing. I
End
was
of
like,
your
oh no.
stream?
Sorry. I'm like, and I'm grabbing my phone. I'm like, oh my God, let me text him back. All right. So let's go. So now we're looking at live demo mode.
Yeah.
And so let's see, does that work? Can you guys see? Can you see when I open up the thing or
Yeah,
no?
I see it. I see it. It's small, but I can see it.
All right. So basically, you're gonna mess around with this sound levels here. And then with the sound levels, you can do, we go down here. This is what Robert was saying. You have this add audio input. So you can add another one. That just created an echo. Or you can change it all together. And so it's not showing up because I just got to go back into my loopback really quick.
Okay.
So
I got
that
distracted.
should work. All right. And now under the microphones, here it shows up. You see Logic
Yeah.
Mainstage. I put Mainstage. I didn't put my Rodecaster Pro. That's the other important thing. So let's go back to screen share really quick. Let me open up
Right.
Loopback. Let me turn off live demo mode. Live demo mode. Let me share Loopback. Hold on. What am I looking at? Loopback. There you are. So the other thing that's the most important thing to do with this is bring your microphone in that you're using. So like RK3 and I
Yeah.
are both using the Rodecaster Pro. If you're using like a Focusrite, if you have the Wave XLR, whatever your microphone is connected to, you're going to bring that in. So with your sources,
Well, remember, if
go ahead.
if you are, so it depends on what we're doing. So we don't necessarily need to bring our microphone in if we already have our microphone selected in Ecamm, right? So
Yeah.
remember what I did was I created a virtual mic with all of the other sound sources that I
Yep.
wanted, and
Yep.
I
So the
brought
way I
that
did here
into I added that
as a
right. So I
secondary
added that
one.
in
Oh, so let's
as
go
a
back.
secondary one. But my primary microphone with my Rodecaster Pro is still selected in Ecamm,
Okay.
right?
So,
So I mean, we can walk through both of maybe the reason why either scenario here. So in Ecamm, so as India talks, go ahead and
Hold
talk
on.
India.
It's going to create an echo.
Yeah,
Give me 1 second.
exactly. Right.
Okay. So then what I did
Because you don't
was,
want that.
right. Go ahead, RK3. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you don't want to have your microphone selected in the virtual mic in Ecamm in Loopback, because you'll have the same microphone coming through twice
Right.
in Ecamm, right? So the scenario where you might want to include your microphone is, let's say that, for example, I have my iPad connected and I want to
Right.
have my iPad play through, but I want to have all the other sounds. I want to have my roadcaster. I want to have everything. So in
Right.
that case, I would create a virtual mic inside of Ecamm with my roadcaster and all of the other applications, so that I could have that. Because remember, Ecamm only allows you to add two
A second.
microphones.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Right. So I would have my workaround is, okay, microphone number one is my virtual mic
Right.
from Loopback with my Rodecaster and all of my other
Right.
applications that I want. And then
Right.
microphone two would be my iPad if I'm
Right.
playing videos from my iPad or whatever.
Right. So what RK3 is saying, like with this situation here, right? My Stream Deck audio. So if my Stream
Mhm.
Deck audio, I had my Rodecaster Pro, which is what I just highlighted, and then I have
Yep.
other apps that I'll bring in. And
Yep.
then we just added this app, this microphone for Laura, the Logic Mainstage. This has all the
Yep.
additional apps so that when we go back and we look at the sound levels, now I have my Stream Deck audio microphone, the virtual
Mhm.
microphone with everything, and then I have my Logic Mainstage, the secondary with those additional um,
Correct.
stuffs. So let me get out of
Correct.
live demo mode.
So to answer Laura's question, she's asking, so for instance, when I use Loopback
Yeah.
to bring in Mainstage, do I need to turn off the Ecamm virtual mic? No, that's not necessarily true. The reason you want to use the virtual mic for Ecamm is now to send everything that you brought into Ecamm out to the location where you want
Right.
it to go. So if you're trying to go to Zoom and you're trying to play Mainstage, Logic Pro, and all of that stuff, um, then you would still need that Ecamm virtual mic to bring all of that stuff out from Ecamm into your into into Zoom. Now, you could create a virtual mic that includes your Rodecaster or your
Right.
microphone along with all of that stuff and select that in Zoom.
Yep.
However, what's going to happen is you won't get the mic delay that happens inside of Ecamm. You're going to get the native um uh transfer,
Yeah.
right? So whatever latency or whatever delay happens with your camera, you may have a little bit of a miss, some out of alignment right
Yeah.
there. So using the virtual microphone allows you to access the commands, the preferences from inside of Ecamm and have everything come out evenly to Zoom
Yep.
or whatever other program you're sending it out to.
Yep. Good questions. Good questions, Laura. I think Gigi had another question I saw. So let me follow the
I see
rules.
another one about, can you use the Loopback app or do you need the device? I'm not
That
sure
was, yep,
what
that was
that
K-Walk. I
means.
knew that there was. Okay, so I got it. So it
Okay.
was K-Walk. So go ahead. You want to take that one?
Well, I'm not sure what it means. Can you use
Oh,
the Loopback app or do you need the device? Which device?
I think she means virtual mic. K-Walk, can you just clarify? Because she's saying loopback
And
app or the virtual device. So we'll go back to that and see. Let me come back down. Yeah, I think so. My personal opinion, honestly, so it's funny. I haven't had the issue, or people haven't told me. There was only one time where I think I brought in what you're saying with loopback, that microphone, and maybe didn't select Ecamm, the
mhm,
virtual mic, right? So I selected just a regular cam link. And it was only one time that the guy was like, "Oh, I noticed that you have a delay," but no one else has ever said it. But I think
right,
98% of the time it's because I'm using Ecamm virtual microphone along with whatever other virtual microphone that it is.
right.
Virtual
Yeah,
camera. I'm using
yeah.
Ecamm virtual camera along
Hmm.
with my virtual mic. So I think I bring in
Right.
the delay because it's bringing in the camera.
Correct.
So because I'm always right because I do my presentations. So I have to bring
Hmm.
in Ecamm through
Yeah.
virtual mic. But if it's so funny because now I never knew that, and I'm like, what is he talking about? And I thought it was just an internet issue thing because it's Zoom, right?
Mm-mm.
Zoom is always has issues, so it was
Right.
just a me and him, like how me and you were talking a few weeks ago, right? That we just jumped
Yeah.
on Zoom and we were hanging out. Um, it was one of those that I think I didn't even turn Ecamm on, but then there was that whatever I chose as my virtual mic, and then it was like
Yeah.
that delay was there. So that's interesting now that you say that.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. And in some cases, depending on the camera that you have, it may be minuscule. You won't most people, if you got like an M50 or something that is coming
right,
in via USB, you might not notice it. But if you're
right,
using capture cards like Camlink, etc.,
right.
you've got to compensate for that. You've got to figure that out. I go what 4 or 5 frames.
Yep.
And different cameras are different. I mean, for
Right.
example, I've got my second camera is a G7,
Yeah.
right? And you see with the G7, there's still a slight lag
Yep.
between my audio and my video because this one transfers the video signal differently than the
The
Sony,
Sony. Yep. Yep.
right?
Yep.
So so many different things to think about, but
Yeah.
Ecamm is doing a phenomenal job of making some of this easier
Right.
by providing the virtual mic as well as the virtual camera. So whatever commands you put inside of Ecamm, it's gonna
Yeah.
spit everything out at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I'm just trying to think. I don't know. Like, I still, like, not that I think that it goes back to the beginning of the conversation. I think that
Mm,
having Loopback is a tool that everyone should have in their toolbox. I think that you should
right.
just invest, especially because virtual mic, like Paul said it, it's a one way mic, it's a one way device. You will
Yeah.
find yourself at some point with limitations. You will find yourself. And the last thing that you want is that you're going to find yourself in the middle of a stream thinking that virtual microphone is going, got you covered. And now you can't do
Right.
anything about it, right? Where with Loopback, you set it up and it's endless, literally. So that happened
Yeah.
with my stream deck audio. Something was happening. I was playing music and then the people, on the stream were like, India, we can't hear it. And I was like, wait. Oh, and I
Yeah.
literally I did it. I was like in under 2 seconds, open up Loopback, turned on Stream Deck, put that
Yeah.
in, brought that in, and it was, good to go. Um,
I think
you
I
know,
think this brings to light really, I mean, and the pandemic has brought this through to us, right? You and I have just walked through and talked about how we've upgraded our setups over the
right.
last
Yep.
18 months or whatever,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But here's the thing. You're like, we're upgrading our cameras, we're upgrading our lighting, etc. But if there's one thing that I want to encourage everybody to understand, it's audio,
Right.
right? Because if your images are blurry,
Yep.
yeah, people might give you a little bit. If your images are a little bit darker, they might give you. But if they can't hear you, or
Right.
if it's fuzzy, or if it's echo, they're like,
Right.
oh, now,
Not happening.
you
Right.
know, I'm leaving,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
take some time to understand audio. I know it seems sometimes like it's a lot of stuff. You just want
Yeah.
to be like, okay, let me click the button and go live, and that's it. That's all I want to do. That's all I
Right.
want to do. But if you upgrade some things and you have some understanding of audio, there's some things that happen that you don't even recognize. I'll give a quick example. The other day I was doing this class and I talked about Michael Jackson's song Billie Jean,
Yep.
right? Audio engineers and musicians put so much time into subtle nuances that you
Right.
don't even recognize. So, for example, Billie Jean, right? You know that the beginning, like, dun,
Dum,
dun,
dum,
dun,
dum,
dun,
dum,
dun,
dum,
dun,
dum.
dun,
Right.
dun, dun, dun,
Right.
right? So, there's a bass line there that can be played, but Michael Jackson listened to it and he's like, I want the groove to be a little bit different. And they're like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I don't know. I want something a little bit different. I want a little bit more drive on it." So what he did was after the bass player recorded the line, he got a keyboard
Right.
and he recorded a bass line which is just one note. So that very first note, so like dun, 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 dun.
Mhm.
So he doubled up only the first note
Mhm.
of that line, right? And a lot of us hear it and we're like, we're just dancing, we're
Right.
grooving,
Right.
but it was the adding of that second little audio thing that none of us really pay attention to. I'm a musician,
Yeah.
so I heard it, right?
Yeah.
Um, but it makes a difference in the danceability. It makes a difference in how the audio plays and how it's received and the emotion that people feel behind certain things because there's like a little additional accent and different sonic
Yep.
presence
Yep.
on one note, right?
Yep.
So that was a complicated way of saying, listen, if you understand the importance of audio, if you understand the importance of the difference that sound
Right.
makes
Yeah.
for people, invest that
Yeah.
invest time into that area of your
Yeah.
streams, of your videos, etc., and it's going to make a real difference for you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, but it's like the microphones, right? Like everybody loves
Yeah.
the SM7B, but then I come on and
Mhm.
I always get compliments on my microphone, right? So it's like
'Cause it looks sexy.
it does look sexy, but it also makes me sound
Yeah.
sexy. But, everyone,
Yeah.
right? It's exactly that, the investment. And I'll switch, I'll use whatever. I tried using the NTG and like they sound good,
Yeah.
but it's those things that then it's like, all right, well, you know, if this is what sounds good for me and this is what I know resonates with my audience, I'm going to keep this one,
Mhm.
right? Because we keep coming
Yeah.
back to it because that's what works. That's what captures the audience, their
Yep.
attention.
Yep.
One last thing and then we'll wrap up. So let's go back
Yep.
one step. So if we go back to one step to, let's say, in a circumstance like ours, where you're calling me
Mhm.
as your guest. And so this is understanding and just emphasizing that Ecamm virtual mic will work, but it's a one-way device. So you're my
Mhm.
guest, and now I want to send this out to Zoom.
Mhm.
So I'm bringing your audio into Ecamm. So when I
Mhm.
send your audio, right, because me and you can talk. So if we were going to do a webinar where
Right.
it was just you and I as a guest, or we were going to do a
Mhm.
a panel, and there's five of us. I'm the moderator, and then there's four speakers, and the
Yep.
attendees in Zoom were not going to speak. They were just
Right.
going to attend. That is when virtual mic will suffice, right?
Correct. Correct.
Because
Yes.
all of the guests
Yes.
are going to, I'm bringing in my guests. So let's say I'm the
Mhm.
moderator. I'm bringing in four people, more people
Right.
through each of
And you're
my
bringing them
Ecamm
into
links.
Ecamm. Yep.
And they're
Exactly.
all calling me to Ecamm. So now we've
Mhm.
turned on Ecamm virtual mic. We are only,
Mhm.
and so the reason why I'm emphasizing webinar, because webinar is not a two-way interaction with the guests in Zoom. A webinar is
Correct.
more informational, that there's either one person or a panel of speakers. We can talk to each other, and then the
Right.
attendees will just, the at most, and you can even turn that off, but at most is that they're either asking questions in the question box or commenting in the chat. They're not
Yeah.
talking virtually. So if you
Yep.
want to do that, then that's when it'll work. However, the
Yeah.
minute you allow Zoom attendees to talk and turn their cameras on, that's where
Mhm.
Loopback comes in. Because if everybody, right?
Yes.
Go ahead. So finish that off. Go ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead. You can finish. Yeah. So yeah, again, I think it goes really back just to what Paul said. It's virtual mic
One
out
way.
of Ecamm is one
Yep.
way.
Yep.
But if you want this to be an entire immersive experience, if you want it to
Yep.
be two-way, and
Yep.
here you want your guests in Ecamm to be able to hear what the people in Zoom are saying, if you're
Yep.
doing a Zoom meeting or if you've used the panelist option in webinar and you want the people in your Ecamm to hear what they're saying, then
Right.
yes, you need to add Zoom into your virtual mic in Loopback. And I know that gets a little bit confusing because we're like,
Right.
create a virtual mic in Loopback and use the Ecamm virtual mic. And you're like, oh my
Right.
gosh, which is a virtual mic, right?
Right.
So creating a mic, your separate microphone in Loopback, including your Zoom audio, allows you to bring that back into Ecamm
Yep.
so that your Ecamm guests can hear it.
Yep. Yeah. So I just wanted to give another example of and just emphasize virtual mic is great. We have that option, right? So it's all, again, tools in the toolbox. So whatever
Yeah.
the twins give us as additional tools is fantastic.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yep.
virtual mic does have a purpose. It can be great. You just have to understand that is not the end all be all. And it
Right.
doesn't take away that need for loopback, because I saw all of those posts when that first
Yeah.
came out. And I was like, I don't know if they would do that. Like, would they
Right.
really? Like, I don't, and maybe they will at some point, but I feel like it would have been a much bigger deal. Like they would have. So, okay, so here's the difference. The twins never said you no longer need loopback. All they
Right.
said was that it was a supplement, right? So it's one of those things that of understanding
Yeah.
the
And I think what
differences.
people have to, I get the feature requests
Yep,
that people make. And at some point you kind of have to also consider, yeah, we can add all these features into
right.
Ecamm.
Yep,
But then when does the software become bloated?
exactly.
When
Right.
when does it pull on so much resources in your computer that it's not worth having all of that stuff in there?
So I want to hire a landscaper for my lawn. I don't want to
Yeah.
hire a landscaper to do my roof deck, right?
Right.
Like keep the specialist to the specialist. And the twins can do a
Right.
lot, but every tool serves its purpose. So if every
Yeah.
tool serving its purpose is like, for me, I'd rather Ecamm serve whatever the twins that they know because they do it so well. And that's why Ecamm
Right.
works so great. The minute it's like, oh, well, we need this, we need that, we need this, then it becomes exactly what you said. It becomes bloated. It
Yeah.
becomes watered down. And then it's like, well, what are we doing? I'd rather have a separate app. And the twins are also really great with partnering with these
Mhm.
companies, because if
Yep.
they know that the app is good and they know that they can't do it as good as those other companies, okay, so let's partner with it and let's make sure our app plays well with it. And now you
Yep.
can have multiple things. So I think that it's kind of twofold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paul is just reminding everyone about your links, and
Oh,
check
cool.
RK3 out on his links there.
Cool.
Good stuff. Any last parting words?
Listen, I just want to encourage everybody to look at what India is doing right now. She's going through this 100 days
Yep.
of live streaming, and the reason that she's doing that is, number one, to kind of get some numbers up,
Yep.
but the bigger reason behind this is practice, right?
Yep.
It's really repeating and kind of getting some muscle memory
Yep.
in some of this stuff. I think all of us that use Ecamm are like solo producers in some
Yep.
way, and
Yep.
Ecamm really makes it easy for you to have a professional appearance, a professional show. I can tell you how many podcast guests have come on to my show and have been like, "Oh my gosh, this thing is like a real production. This is the most fancy thing I've ever seen. It's like great." And I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah, Ecamm,
Yep.
Ecamm." And it does take some time to do the production, as well as still be able to connect with your audience all the
Yep.
way through a
Yep.
live stream, because they're doing so many different things. And so I just want to encourage people to get out there,
Yep.
to practice. It doesn't have to be perfect, right?
Yep.
Progress is better than perfection, but
Yep.
you get there, you move towards perfection by practicing.
100%. Well said. All right,
Yeah.
brother. It was great.
Yes,
I'll see what
ma'am.
I can chop up from that. But that was good. I think it was definitely a good, updated, needed description of understanding the two. We are going to do what we do. Day 31. And I gave my giveaways yesterday. And I realized yesterday was day 30. And I realized I'm not doing 90 days. I'm doing 100 days. So we should have celebrated on 33 days.
33.
Yeah, I thought about it afterwards when I went back upstairs, and I was like, oh yeah. So when we do our next
Yeah.
celebration, it'll be on day 66, because we'll be
That's what I was gonna say.
2/3.
Make them wait. till
Right,
66.
exactly. We'll do it on 66.
Yeah.
RK3, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
This has been
You're the best.
fantastic.
I know. Well, it's always cool
Fantastic.
hanging out with you. You're like my big brother. So,
Mm.
all right, y'all. We gonna see you guys tomorrow. Yep, at 7 p.m. I wanted to make sure I didn't have anything going on. All right, you guys. I will catch you guys on the next one. Late.